Hey guys, Erito here. Welcome to another LMU video, and this time we are in Qatar in a shorter version of the track in the LMP2. There's also GT3s in this race, and I'm telling you, this is the craziest race I've had yet. There is action basically every lap, and there was some strategy. I had to fuel save a tiny bit, and at the end I almost ran out of fuel. I'm sure you will enjoy this race, and yeah, hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Okay, here we are, ready to get started. I really did not expect this track to be so much fun in this specific layout, but it really was enjoy, and I can't even speak anymore. It was really enjoyable, the whole race, and unfortunately we got a bit of a bad start. Wasn't very good with the reaction. I was trying to warm up the tires as well, because you start on cold tires this race, there's no tire warmers. So I was given the outside there. Fortunately I went a bit wide as well. So right off the start I'm down 3 positions. And we will be following this guy for most of the race. However, it might seem boring for the race, but as soon as we get to the back of the GT3s, all hell broke loose, and it was very chaotic, because on these corners that we just did, the closing speed between the LMP2s and the GT3s is absolutely insane. If you're not careful, you're gonna end up at the back of a GT3. So yeah, we qualified P2. I did a 1 minute 3 second 0.7, which is not my best. My best is a 0.5, but I was struggling a bit in quali because I literally had just booted the game. Without practice, I saw the race was in about a minute, so I joined like super fast. So I had absolutely no practice, and as you can see, I don't have any pace yet. I needed a few laps to warm up. And when I'm warmed up, I have good pace. I'm pretty sure I could have actually won this race had I practiced. Because looking at the lap times, I saw that a lot of the laps I was the fastest of all the cars on that specific lap. And that's why you see purple in the lap times. That's the fastest car on track on that specific lap. It's not the actual fastest lap of the race. But yeah, now we've caught up. Tires are warm now. And we're still a good ways away from the GT3s. That chicane we just passed, that chicane is a nightmare for off tracks. I think I had like 11 out of the 23 laps were invalidated. So it was a bit of a pain. But when you get that chicane right, it's very satisfying. And that's where you can make a lot of the time with these cars. And they're just so incredibly grippy. Like, the LMP2 and the GTEs are by far my favorite cars in this game. which is probably strange considering the game is mostly about the GT3s and the hypercars. But, well, at least for now, because they are going to introduce ELMS into the game very soon with the unrestricted LMP2, which is gonna be quite fun as well. I think they are supposed to be sometimes even faster than the hypercars on some tracks. Maybe not tracks where top speed matters. I'm not sure. We'll have to see when they release. I don't know when they're coming, but I know it's probably the next update. So it got a bit sketchy. I did lower the traction control from 8, which is the default. I switched it to 4, or to 6 actually. I thought it would have been a bit too sketchy on gold tires to be on 4, though I might try at some point, because I always lowered the DC on the other cars. And yeah, so we should be getting to the GT3s on the next lap, or maybe at the end of this lap, and you're gonna see just absolute chaos to get past them, and I lost a lot of time. And I'm gonna be honest, there was some fuel saving to get the better. They must have had a slowdown there, so they let me past. Here I just yeeted off the course to avoid a crash. I had to do that a couple times this race. But yeah, we're now nearing the GT3s. And yeah, there was some fuel saving. Honestly, I saved I saved for an extra lap without even realizing, because I was just trying not to kill GT3s, and apparently I ended up saving fuel. And at the end, I fueled what I thought was enough for the end of the race, and I ended up having to do some big lifts in the end. There I yeeted off the track again just to avoid another incident. I'd rather just lose some time off track than yeet myself into another car. Now we're side by side with Dario. They're gonna end up getting the position. And here we go. Here come the GT3s. Well, we have a bit of a gap. These were the slower ones. I'm really trying to get early on the power. I can get a better exit. And by the way, something that I don't usually do, which is to tell you to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more, as we are now approaching Chaos. Yeah, I want to try and get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and you may see there at the bottom that I also am on Kick. I occasionally like to live stream. Now that the summer is mostly over, I want to start streaming a bit more again. I did a stream recently. Here I couldn't send it on him. I'd rather be a bit more safe and not just hit myself and potentially risk ruining both my race and the GT3 race. So I lost a bunch of time, but not to worry, we cut them. again, because they do get held up as well. They tried to send it on the Mercedes and didn't go very well. Also, let's keep in mind that these are mostly bronze drivers with bronze safety rating, so can't expect them to know how to deal with multi-class racing. Even myself, I'm not very experienced with it. So I try to be a bit more careful and expect the unexpected. Because the GT3s are supposed to just stick to their line so that they are predictable towards faster cars. But sometimes that's not what they do. They try to get out of the way, and because you're expecting them to stay on the line, you go to try and overtake, and suddenly they are in front of you again. And it's really annoying, but you know, these are less experienced players, so gotta be careful. We've got back up to Dario. This is how it's gonna go until the pit. Anyways, just want to do a bit of commentary. I will leave you with the chaos until the end of the video, and I hope you enjoy it. The next video might be F4 on iRacing. They are racing at Mugello, and I really like that combo, so see if I can get a video out for that later this week. So yeah, hope you enjoy, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.